Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, a special Wednesday night edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, live on YouTube.com. It is Gold MF Michael Fletcher with Anthony the Hitman Florio. I did send him an invite to. I did let him know we're doing the show tonight. I don't think he got it. I hope he did. Then that's okay. We're just gonna run it, and I know Dee Dee has work commitments beyond her control, so we got a really loaded show tonight. Smackdown live on what last that when it happened last night on the USA Network. I don't think we're gonna be holding back tonight. A few weeks ago, it was about a month and a half ago, Anthony, you had probably the worst Raw of 2017. Pretty much came really damn close to the worst SmackDown of 2017. It was a complete train wreck that we witnessed last night, and thank God we did not do it last night, because if we didn't, I think we probably would have gone on some rants. And who knows, we might get rants here tonight. As everybody knows, this is a TV 14 rated show, so bear that in mind that viewer discretion will be advised during this episode. But I will also do something as a first. Time in a long time in the Mikey's mindset, we're going to have 3 article of news. Number 1, we got some RWA stuff that went down this past week. For the first time in a long time, Hunter stuff to bring in. Also, for the first time in ages, because of this WWE week on USA, they actually had NXT right here tonight. And I will be providing my thoughts on this episode. I know Anthony was away doing some commitments beyond his control, so I kind of have a feeling he probably did not see NXT yet. He's more than welcome to put his 2 cents in.
Actually, MF, I actually did see the show. I DVR'd it, so I'll join you in that review.
Wonderful. That's actually great news. All right. So we will get into some NXT stuff. And then, of course, I will have stuff along the way that I want to get my thoughts, whatever, off on this. So, all right. Floodgates start with SmackDown Live last night. So, we start with a talking segment with WWE Champion AJ Styles that was interrupted by Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, and it really was, man, okay, I'm just gonna say this. I don't know what was well, I know what the meaning was of this. It was to build up the final fight. This was the last time they were going to get to talk. This was the go-home show for the Clash of Champions that's going down this Sunday night in Boston, Massachusetts. And I don't understand the reasoning behind this. I think it came out flat. It didn't help anything. I just want AJ to just beat Jinder Mahal, get this out of the rearview mirror, and so that we could focus on the real job at hand, and that's the Royal Rumble. I don't know. For once, I hate to say this, I am not interested and I am not excited for a WWE championship fight. And it pains me to say this because this is my brand. This is the blue brand I'm talking about. SmackDown Live. And on top of that, we're talking the most prestigious championship in all of professional wrestling, the World Entertainment Championship. It just did not work. AJ is a great champion. He tried his best on this promo. Jinder Mahal will suck the life out of the arena so damn fast, it's not even funny. For me, I can't even. This has to go down as one of the worst segments of the night, and maybe one of the worst talking segments of the year to watch. Anthony Floyo, come on in. I mean, if you want to wax poetic about this, go right ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This was a dud. This was a dud segment. AJ Styles deserves way better than this. I mean, he's the flag bearer, not just of SmackDown Live, but of the WWE as well, because he is the WWE champion after all. They did the right thing by taking the title off of Jinder last month in England. Praise God for that. Because I'll tell you what, Jinder Mahal will forever go down as the worst WWE champion of all time. Yes, I was happy when he won it because it was fresh and I was willing to see where it would go. Never in my wildest dreams did I think it was going to be as bad as it was. I told you guys it was going to be like that, but okay. The segment was a dud. AJ Styles was, clearly the star of the segment. He played his part well, but nobody bought the sellout for a second. And we as fans, the fans in the arena, they were sitting on their hands, waiting for the action to pick up. For me, praise the Lord that Michael Bullock and his family planned a special birthday group outing last night, which we went to, and took place during SmackDown Live. Hallelujah! But I DVR'd it. I watched it back, and oh boy, I did not like what I saw, and this was one of them. Um, we're in the same boat here. MF and I, we're in the same boat here, and I'm sure Michael Bullock and Edie Woodson would be the same as well. Let's have this program end Sunday night. Put AJ over clean, and let's move on, and let's get AJ Styles a more interesting and more credible challenger for the Royal Rumble, because they're going to have AJ defend the title. We already know Brock Lesnar is going to defend the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. It's very likely going to be a triple threat with Braun Strowman and Kane. But for AJ Styles, who next? I don't know. But WWE really seems to have divested quite a bit from Jinder, at least at this main event level. So jury's out to lunch as far as who AJ could go up against at the Royal Rumble. But all I know is it better be somebody legitimate, it better be somebody credible, and it better be somebody that AJ Styles can put on a damn good match with. We remember what happened at this past year's Royal Rumble. AJ Styles, John Cena, over 52,000 in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. And what did they do? They put on a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic, which is easily a match of the year contender for sure. It doesn't have to be Cena. It can be anybody. Like I said, Jerry's out to lunch, but MF, you nailed it on the head. This was a horrific segment. And basically, all I can say is nothing to see here, friends. Nothing to see here. So, and yes, MF, you are absolutely right. This SmackDown Live was a horrific show. And my final rating is going to be very, very, very reflective of that. So, let's just get into the in-ring action. And hopefully we can stop some bleeding here.
Well, the first match of the night was a women's match, which normally, it always good to have going, and it was Ruby Riott 1-on-1 with the reigning and defending SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, the winner of the bout, Flair. The match was thrown was well actually yeah, it was Charlotte. Let me see. It was a DQ finish. I guess that's the best way to call it. Let me see if there was. Okay, it was a DQ finish because Natalia decided to attack Charlotte. So, 2 seconds, Anthony, it's all yours.
1.5 stars, MF. That's all I can give it. Um,
Okay.
it was okay for the time given, but it was more about setting up the dynamic between the Riot Squad and the rest of the women, as well as building to the Lumberjill match. I can't believe they're still calling it a Lumberjack match. It's a Lumberjill match. Let's get it right. Um, for the SmackDown Women's Championship with the Charlotte and Natty. But if I could describe this match in 2 words, those 2 words would easily be infinite meh. That's because that's what it was. I want to like the influx of talent into the SmackDown Women's division, but the execution has been subpar and second rate at best. I like the effort that the women are putting in their physical encounters, but the story has really something left to be desired here. We know nearly nothing about the Riot Squad's motivation, and the best babyface and best promo in the division stepped out to go film a movie on the first night, being Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is shooting that newest Marine movie with The Miz and Shawn Michaels. But, you know, and I think once Becky comes back, I think that will breathe some life back into this women's division. And also, moving Charlotte Flair away from Natty will also help, as I think their feud is long past its expiration date, even though they had that wonderful match when Charlotte won the title. Survivor Series show last month, but really all I can say here. So, Becky, come back. That's all I can say. We need the Irish last kicker back, and let's move Charlotte away from Natty, and let's get her a more credible. Not saying Natty isn't, but let's get her a new challenger stat. So nothing more to say. 1.5 stars. MF, it's yours.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 1.5 stars, fair enough. I'll give you that for what it was worth. And it was okay in certain degrees, but I mean, it was definitely more disappointing than anything else. I mean, I was expecting something a little better because Ruby Riott is actually a good wrestler. So is Charlotte. And it went of the old school diva division. Not what we need in WWE, especially that kind of thing. And I don't know. I just feel like it was a letdown more than anything else. The next thing we had was a one-on-one match, and it was Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler wins the fight by disqualification at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Basically, Bobby Roode basically got up and hit Ziggler with the glorious DDT, which caused the DQ. I mean, all right, I get it. I know why they did it, to add more fuel to the fire for the upcoming triple threat fight Sunday night at the Clash of Champions. But I mean, it was too short. It was, I mean, the timing of it was bad. I just thought that they should have let Ziggler and Corbin fight a little more in this fight. They never really got off the ground when the ending came. So I mean, again, another disappointing match. I could call this a straight dud in my eyes. I got really nothing. Um, hey, Anthony, if you want to go right ahead.
Dud, you're right. No
Mm.
rating to a dud. Second worst fight of the night. Same nonsense, different week. I mean, How anyone could care about this match on Sunday is beyond me. And also, 2 DQ finishes in a row. What's up with that? Honestly, more meh. And but I know there are some who aren't really looking forward to this match. But given the talent,
Oh, okay. Gonna move right on along. I don't know what happened there. I think Anthony probably just muted his mic and didn't realize it. So the next thing we had, and this is gonna be a cutout. I'm not gonna bludgeon ourselves through this one. The Bludgeon Brothers versus a couple of jobbers. Brothers won the match at 2 minutes 29 seconds. Yeah, this was basically again the Bludgeon Brothers dominating, looking really strong, and they're really coming in and getting more and more stronger by the week. This is what you want to see with a new tag team emerging, the whole 9 yards. It was pretty good. I like it. I like what they did. Pretty cool. So nothing more to say. Next thing we had was an in-ring segment. It was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens cutting a promo, basically saying that with everything that's going on, that Shane McMahon's on a power trip trying to destroy, Owens and Sami Zayn. Then Daniel Bryan came out, and then you could see the little bit of the subsidies of him, the subtleties, trying to start everything else in the whole 9 yards, and trying and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn probably influencing themselves and probably thinking about maybe an Occupy Smackdown. Remember, this was one of those iconic moments in professional wrestling where there was an Occupy Raw movement, and that triggered, had alluded to as the Miracle on Bourbon Street all those years ago. And that night, that was when Daniel Bryan win the WWE heavyweight title at WrestleMania 30. And that triggered one of the greatest victories in his career, and thus made him one of the most valuable guys in WWE. And I think it was as solid and as great as it was. Now we kind of want to see what the future may hold for Mr. Daniel Bryan, because there has been a lot of talk, a lot of rumors about him turning heel. And I know Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock are very worried about that. I know Dede Woodson, no particular terms, has been a little worried about that as well. If that does indeed happen, if the heel turn does happen, it will be one of the most biggest moments in professional wrestling history. I mean, magnitude of that heel turn, massive. I don't think we will ever see the likes of it ever again in professional wrestling. But it remains to be. It definitely could happen. I'm not going to agree or disagree about that. I think anything is possible in the world of professional wrestling. I think that's the best way we can mention it. It's going to play out, what it's going to look like, and if it does happen, then we shall go at that part, and we'll go from there. So the next thing we had on the show was, I believe, our main event of the evening was, nope, actually it was the Usos. Well, first off, you had the New Day come out on commentary, and they were talking about the Rusev Day, that there's going to be 12 days of Rusev days, leading into what was going to be their next battle Remember, there is a fatal four-way that's going down this Sunday night at Clash of Champions, as it will be Aiden English and Rusev versus the New Day versus Sheldon Benjamin, um, uh, Chad Gable, and of course the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. So what we have here, the Usos versus English and Rusev, and they win it. Wins it. Aiden English getting the director's cut at 6 minutes and 48 seconds. This was actually not bad. Um, I really think that this was an okay fight. Nothing to really ride home about. A little bit, in one way, yes, disappointing, and it could have been a lot more better. But in the grand scheme of things, it was a little more decent enough. And I like the fact that the challengers won this match. That's going to be major momentum. Um, Rusev and for Aiden English. And there's a lot of people in the water cooler saying, I think they're going to win the titles. I think they're going to win the titles. It's very possible, guys. This could be seeds planting of a possible title change in Boston on Sunday night. If that's the case, great. Put it on Rusev and Aiden English. They're becoming definitely over on some of the WWE Universe fans. A lot of the fans are starting to embrace Rusev and Aiden English, and I think this would be a career moment for these men if they do and win the titles. The evening on SmackDown Live, it was a one-on-one match. Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Kevin Owens wins the main event. 14 minutes 33 seconds. Decent match. Good battle. Daniel Bryan kind of got involved because the referee got taken out, and Daniel Bryan puts the referee shirt on. Uh, I guess you could say called it right down the middle as good as he could, and Daniel Bryan called the 1, 2, 3, got the victory on it, and the fight of the night, no doubt about that. Um, you can see how everything came out. It looks like Daniel Bryan is siding with Kevin Owens and with it's definitely abundantly clear that is happening. What we're gonna see down the line, we'll wait and see. Has rejoined us, so Anthony, I'm gonna catch you up really quick on some of the action that you did in miss a moments ago, and we're gonna start it off briefly. Talk about the in-ring segment, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Daniel Bryan. So why don't you start with that, my friend?
Segment of the night. I mean, solid. Um, what was I gonna say? Solid and at times fun segment with it continuing the Kevin and Sammy angle, as well as the issues with Shane and Daniel Bryan that they have been building. So, yep, movement. I liked it. I loved it. It was awesome. So, one of the few, and I do mean few, bright spots of this show. So, I don't think there's really anything more to say. What else do I have to get into?
We also got to get into Aiden English and Rusev defeating the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, in 6 minutes and 48 seconds.
Well, I have to do it once if we get a win. You had the obsolete song MF with the Hardys, but one other thing I actually is one other thing I want to say about the segment there, and the further intrigue of Daniel Bryan's priorities and sensibilities were taking him with this feud. He is one of the most complex characters on the show, and he's done a great job of showing conflict and stress in his facial expressions. And Owens and Zayn did justice to the Occupy SmackDown concept. But honestly, the most interesting thing about that idea was whether or not Daniel Bryan would get physically involved in anything on Sunday and what that could mean to his future, because there's been a lot of dirt sheets coming out. As far as this match goes, um, I can only give it another 1.5 stars. There was nothing to see other than a late push to give Rusev and English credibility. before Sunday's title match, which is that 4-way. And I mean, I have to do it. You always do it with the obsolete song. Well, when Rusev and English win, I got to do it. It's Rusev Day. Yeah. So happy Rusev Day, folks. So I believe main event time, MF.
It is main event. It was Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kevin Owens gets the victory at 14 minutes and 33 seconds.
2.5 to 3 stars for me. This was by default the fight of the night. Um, if you heard the commentary of Daniel Bryan and Byron Saxton, they were completely overbearing as they were arguing on commentary, really taking away from the match. Very distracting. Match was perfectly solid, but it came across as both guys were stuck in second gear with no desire to do anything more. Too heavy handed about Bryan aligning with Sammy and Kevin, which means that Shano gets taken out. Maybe Orton turns on Nakamura and Bryan has to count the fall to be fair about things. I don't know. So, um, and another thought about this. The big sell as the show went off the air was that Bryan hesitated slightly to jump in the ring after putting on the ref shirt, and that may have cost Nakamura the bout. Saxton went hard at trying to blame this on Bryan's bias in favor of Zayn and Owens. Match itself, I mean, was fine. It was solid, but not anything spectacular. But the last few minutes were great. And the story being told is that Bryan is the most interesting one being told heading into the Clash show. And but I don't think it's at the point where it's overshadowed Owens and Zayn. Orton and Nakamura do feel like bit players in a way, but I think this match can be counted on to deliver on Sunday. And I think this is going to be the fight of the night. If I'm going to be real honest with you, that tag team match. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being the main event. So, 2.5 to 3 stars. That's all I can give it. So, overall review time, MF.
His overall review, and I'm just gonna open it up here, and I'm just gonna open fire. This has to be, like I said, the worst SmackDown of the year, no doubt about it. Maybe 2.5 to 3. Any more higher than that. I mean, I can give you the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens segment. I can give you the main event. Maybe I can give you a little bit of the beginning. I mean, yeah, I can give you a piece of the tag team fight, which was the Rusev, Aiden English versus the Usos. Rest of the show, maybe the final 30 minutes is the only watchable thing you could see on SmackDown Live because all the rest of the show is basically a dumpster fire. In my opinion, the worst SmackDown of the year, and this was a deflating way to go Clash of Champions in Boston on Sunday night. I mean, me with such a bitter taste in mouth. Yes, now I know how Patriot fans felt about their performance on Monday night and how disgusted they were because after what I saw from SmackDown Live last night, I kind of feel that same disgust right about now. Yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Three out of 10, MF. You got it right. Um, this whole network era thing. I mean, the art of the go home show has largely been lost in 2017, especially with WWE. Lazy, uninspired, gave us nothing good overall. Tagline for this really could have said, "Hey kids, we have Clash of Champions on Sunday. Hope you like crap," because that's what this show was. Don't get me wrong, the event could end up being solid or even good, but the final build to it absolutely sucked. It was terrible. I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn literally saved the show. I mean, if it wasn't for these two in that awesome Yep movement segment with Daniel Bryan in the main event, I probably would have given this maybe a 0, if I'm going to be real honest with you. And NMF, I really hate to add to your troubles here, but I got to be real honest with you. Over the last month, pretty much since Survivor Series, Monday Night Raw has been putting on quality shows. SmackDown Live has not. Long story short, and I know MF, yeah, I know MF, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but you want me to be the man who tells it like it is? You want me to be that Jesse Ventura? You want me to go there? I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there right now. Long story short, Monday Night Raw is on the rise. SmackDown Live on the decline. Sorry. Mikey's mindset time, MF. It's all yours. Go for it.
Well, actually, keep your mic on because we're actually going to get right into the NXT.
Oh,
So
okay.
for the first time, ever, folks, myself and Anthony Florio, we're going to be covering it NXT. So we started it off with the big announcement by William Regal. That they did an opening montage talking about what happened to Drew McIntyre. If you guys did not know, suffered an injury during NXT Takeover during the weekend of the Survivor Series, and it thus gave Andre C. Almas the NXT title. He won the title that night. And what happened was a number one contenders match was to be determined, and this was going to be what they were going to do, a qualifying matchups that would at the end give us a was going to lead to a fatal four-way that would give us a number one contenders matchup than anything else down the line. And the winner of that match, Andre C. Almas, sometime down the line for the NXT Championship. Started the show off with the aforementioned reigning, defending champion Andre C. Almas, accompanied by the delicious and devilish Selena Vega. They went, yes, as he went up against Fabian Archer, I think is it? Or
Fabian Eichner. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic last year.
there you go. Okay, so I stand corrected. So once it was all said and done, the winner of the bout, he beats him in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Hey, for this to be the first time on NXT, I mean, not bad. Pretty good. It was a decent match. It was, is what you expect from NXT. There was the nice little action. It was good. It was solid. The one downside is, why the hell did you not let the baby girl speak or cut a promo? What the bleep was that? I mean, she's a great talker. She sells the show really well. Her standard is so good. I'm going to say it, man. She is on par talkers in WWE. And as a manager, she is right. I don't want to say she's anywhere in the level of Paul Heyman, because Heyman is just like a world on his own. I mean, when he talks, we listen. NXT, whenever Zelina Vega talk, I listen. A lot of the times I gotta have a napkin or a little towel to try to get the drool off my face, because she leaves me speechless and spellbound and bewitched half the times. And I'm being real honest with you, y'all. That's a fine looking thing, and I'm so pissed as hell that greatest wrestler alive is got that girl. That's right. Austin Aries is married to that beautiful thing right there. So, son of a, you know what? And I can't stress that enough. Anyway, decent fight. I can give this about 1.5 stars because it was short, but a nice way to showcase the NXT champion. Definitely, and clean victory. Normally you get to see, maybe you're thinking Andre C. Almas might do some cheating or might try to pull something. No. Clean win, clean victory. Solid for me. I like that. I like when even though he's a heel champion, sometimes you don't have to go to the heelish tactics. You don't need it to be a chicken crap champion. This actually makes him come out pretty strong. Word. Nitpicks here and there, but for it to be on USA first time out, well done. Anthony, go.
I'm going to give it 2 stars, MF. I mean, this was a fun little sprint with Fabian Eichner again looking good. And I'm going to tell you something about Fabian Eichner. I saw him in the Cruiserweight Classic last year, and he put on a solid performance in his match. This guy's got a ton of potential. I see a bright future for him, no question about it. I mean, this was a brief yet entertaining match with Fabian Eichner getting some offense in before Almas put him away clean. And the broadcast team, they put over Eichner's showing against the champion effectively afterward. And yes, MF, you're absolutely right about Zelina Vega. I mean, she is an amazing talker. You're absolutely right about that. And wow. So yeah, great showing for Fabian Eichner. No question about it. I mean, you remember when I did those cruiserweight classic recaps last year on Ridiculously Raw. During my Tony's take. I mean, I mentioned Fabian Eichner, and you know, it, he had a solid showing in the Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, so there's really nothing left for me to say on that. So, 2 stars for me. So let's get into our next match.
All right, our next match was, I could say this is like the equivalent of a squash match, but it was Onsi Lokan and Danny Burch, and they went up against Akar and Razor, the Authors of Pain, accompanied to the ring by WWE Hall of Famer, the legendary Paul Ellering. If you don't know who this guy is, please go on to the WWE Network and look this guy up, because he was the man, the manager of the legendary Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, of Hawk and Animal. And let me tell you, this is one of the best things that could ever happen. I was really angry at NXT fans when they did not know who Paul Ellering was at first. They finally came around, and let me tell you, these guys, Akar and Razor, of the Authors of Pain, you got to see the damage they cause. You got to see the badass that they are. And let me tell you, when they make the jump to the main roster very soon, because I think it will be soon, God help the WWE Tag Team Division, and you better hope that they're not on your show. If it's Monday Night Raw, you better watch your asses. If it's Smackdown Live, Spirit de Santo, you better watch yourselves, because these boys are dynamite. If that's not the case, games, and watch the havoc they caused in the War Games. Nothing more to say. Anthony Floyo, go ahead.
Before I do, if you were wondering, Fabian Eichner was in the Cruiserweight Classic last year, and he lost in the first round to Gentleman Jack Gallagher. So, a solid 6 minute and 45-second bout. But let's get into this. 1 minute 15 seconds. The Authors of Pain over Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. These two guys, Lorcan and Burch, they used to be rivals at one point, and they had some very physical matches on NXT. But then they decided to come together and form a tag team, and for the most part, it worked out great. But you got fed to Akon and Rezar. No rating. This was another no rate. This is the no rating to a dud here. Easily the worst fight of the night. I mean, it was simple destruction from the AOP. I wish Burch and Lorcan could have gotten more in, but the Authors, they're more of a priority right now. Fun while it lasted. So, and I agree. Authors of Pain are definitely on their way to the main roster. I hope and pray they come to Monday Night Raw. I would love to have these guys on Raw. I mean, they would make great Raw Tag Team Champions. No question about it. I would love to see the Authors of Pain against the Bar. That would be awesome. See them against Sheamus and Cesaro. Maybe even see them against Rollins and Ambrose while the Shield's still around. Um, maybe something with the Good Brothers. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that either. But I don't know. We'll see. But if they go to SmackDown Live, that would definitely help that tag team division out. I mean, they could have some great matches with the Usos and the New Day, and maybe Benjamin and Gable could get a good little sprint out of them. I don't know. Possibilities are endless. So that's all I can say there. So wherever they go on the main roster, it's going to be fun to watch. I hope it's Raw personally, but if it's SmackDown Live, hey, good for you guys. So nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right. And actually, give you a little brief of a heads up. Hey, Michael Bullock has arrived. Just hang on a little bit. We'll get your thoughts in just a second, because we got SmackDown Live and we also are doing some NXT stuff. So
first off, I want to say what's up, fellas.
glad that you came on. I know I gave you a message a little bit late, but I'm glad that you made it. And actually, this is actually pretty cool, because next week on NXT, now this is only exclusive for WWE Network fans, we actually got 2 matches. That's right. The king of the bruiserweights, Pete Dunne, is gonna put the United Kingdom title on the line against the man he took the belt from in the first place, Tyler Bate. Plus, also next week, Sanity, WWE, or I should say the NXT tag team titles on the line against 2 members of the Undisputed Era. It is Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Oh my God, is all I'm going to say. If you want exciting hour of wrestling, you better get your butts down to the WWE Network. Shut up, pay the $9.99, take my money. NXT next week, next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. One hell of a show. So, all right. So, what should we do? Should we do the SmackDown Live recap with Bullock and then go into the main event for NXT? Anthony, what do you say?
Well, it's up to you, MF. It's your show.
All right. Is it okay if you hang tight and then let me just talk about the main event on NXT and then we can go into the SmackDown quickly?
Hey, I'm fine with that.
We'll do this. The main event on NXT this week was a match to determine to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way number 1 contender, the next contender for the NXT title. Now, already in other matches, Killian Dane, Johnny Gargano has already qualified. Match of the 4, Adam Cole, or Adam Cole, baby! And he went one-on-one with one of the most exciting guys in NXT right now, Aleister Black. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the match and the 3rd man to be added to the Fatal 4-Way, Mr. Black. He wins the match at 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Fight of the oh man, what a match this was. Amazing battle. I got nothing bad to say about this fight. This was at least 2.5 to 3 stars. Great matchup. Great way to close the show. And Aleister Black wins. That's the factor of it. Is Black won this match. And it was a standout fight. Both men shined in at the end, and this was a tremendous way to close the show. Anthony Florio, come on in. This was the fight of the night, and without a doubt, almost a 3-star level match.
2 3/4 to 3 stars MF. That's the rating for this match. Good main event featuring two of NXT's finest. Black stood out in a major way, and Cole also shined as an arrogant heel despite taking the loss. And, solid match. Pretty good match. The right guy won. But the only nitpick I had is it just lacked the high quality of some of the recent NXT main events on TV anyways. But other than that, 2 3/4 to 3 stars. This was the fight of the night. No question about it. And if it's okay, MF, I'd like to lead off on the overall review, if that's okay. Because I got plenty to say on this. So bear with me.
Be my guest. Open. Go ahead.
This was a 6 out of 10 show. I mean, I'm also factoring in the WWE Network broadcast, and I hate that the USA Network left out this match. They had another match on the show with Ember Moon going up against one half of a duo that MF and I love very much, the iconic duo, Peyton Royce. Hey, how you doing? Of course, Billy was out there with her. And that was a 2.5-star match. I mean, that was a perfectly fine match with Ember picking up the win to keep her momentum as the champ going. So I'm factoring that in as well. This was a 6 out of 10 show. Solid show, 2 fun squash matches. Ember Moon keeps her momentum as the champion, while Aleister Black moves on into that 4-way match. And next week's show, I got to tell you, has a ton of potential with the 2 title matches announced. And this show did a fine job of setting that up. I mean, yeah, and it flew by easily. I mean, flew by, no issues with it whatsoever. The squashes definitely, while they were fun, still frowned upon, but other than that, 6 out of 10. That's best I can go. And next week, next week's a can't miss show. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Whoa, we all remember that 5-star they put on in Chicago. I mean, what will that be like? And then Sanity against Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. That's going to be some epicness as well. So usually we don't really watch the NXT weekly TVs, but we watched it this week because it was on the USA Network. And next week, 2 title matches. You'd be a stupid idiot and a muttonhead if you missed this. So 6 out of 10 for me. Solid show. Way better than that dumpster fire known as SmackDown Live. Way better. Hell, even better.
Way
than
better.
205 Live as well. Better than 205 Live as well. That's a spoiler alert. Because come Monday night, the gloves are coming off on 205 Live. Terrible show. MF, go ahead.
I cannot disagree with what Anthony just said. This was absolutely. I'm probably going to nitpick a little bit and say that he's a little off. I could give this about 6.5. I thought this was a very solid show, a great showcase to be on the USA Network. And I'm going to tell you, man, because there is a lot of rumors going around that what the idea is that they want to bring T2 TV permanently, but they're not going to do it until possibly 2019. There was a rumor going around that they might scale back Monday Night Raw from 3 hours to 2 hours, plus continuing the 5-hour programming for WWE. So Monday night from 9 to 11 is Monday Night Raw. SmackDown will remain on tonight from 8 to 10, and Wednesday night NXT will be a simulcast WWE Network and NXT at 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday nights. Now, if that's true, infringing on Lucha Underground, and that might cause a whole ruckus if NXT and Lucha Underground go head to head. Now, that's only if, and that's a big if Lucha Underground continues and to crank out seasons. They've already confirmed that they are doing a season 3. It is confirmed, and it is coming out in 2018. They haven't addressed out, but we do know it is coming very soon. 4 of Lucha Underground is coming very soon. That withstanding, if the model is true, if that does happen, because WWE contract with NBC Universal does run out very soon, and they are talking about other companies to jump in on this. For one, I've heard Fox is trying to get in on the war, and possibly try to steal WWE away from NBC Universal. If that happens, where they may, this could be very exciting. Now, let's backtrack a little bit with our own buddy Michael Bullock. So, Bullock, front and center, my friend. We're just going to give you our thoughts about SmackDown Live, and if it's anything what Anthony Florio had in store for us, oh boy, I'm in. So, SmackDown brethren, let's start it off with the opening segment, which was AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal, and the Singh brothers. So go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you very much, MF. Yes, I thought it was excuse me. Yeah, my throat was yeah, I'm coughing a little bit, but yeah. I mean, I thought this was a good segment to I thought it was an okay segment for what it was. I mean obviously obviously they wanted to hype excuse me. They wanted to hype the big match, of course, for for Clash of Champions between AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal. Yeah, so yeah, so basically, I mean, it was fine for what it was. So I really got nothing more to say about it. So I'm just gonna give it to you, MF. Your thoughts on it?
Well, me and Anthony actually gave our thoughts, and we actually kind of thought that it was kind of flat. Neither of us really liked it that much, but it is what it is. First fight of the night, Charlotte Flair and Ruby Riott. Charlotte wins it in 4 minutes and 22 seconds via disqualification due to some outside interference by Natalya.
Yeah, not a good match. I mean, too short for my liking and ending in disqualification. 1 star is I can only give it. So
Okay.
I got nothing more to say. I'm just gonna move on.
We also had Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Ziggler wins the match at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Again, via disqualification due to Bobby Roode hitting the glorious DDT on Ziggler.
Not a good match. I'm gonna say this. This was no rating to a dud as far as I'm concerned. So I got nothing more to say. I'm just gonna give it to you, MF. I'm speechless.
All right. All right. Next fight I had was the Bludgeon Brothers versus the against a couple of jobbers. I actually called cutout on this fight, so you don't have to review that, Michael Bullock. What you do need to talk about is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens cutting a promo, interrupted by Daniel Bryan. So go right ahead with that.
Yeah, I thought this was a good segment. Obviously, basically, they were, yeah, they were obviously making, trying to occupy SmackDown, saying that they don't like what Shane McMahon is doing. So, yeah, so and how they had Kevin Owens handcuffed to the ringside last week, and And basically, they said, you know what, Shane is worse than Vince and Stephanie. So, but the worst thing was that Shane was the special ref for their match, and they could lose their job. So, Daniel Bryan comes out and then then Daniel Bryan says, you know what, you're nothing like me, and he says that the Yes Movement was always about the fans, and Daniel Bryan says that, you know what, Shane will screw them out at the Clash, taking food from their families at the table. They work hard to get here, but Shane wants to take it all away. Bryan says, you know what, he and Shane have each other. You know what, we have each other's back. So he says, you know what, at Clash of Champions, I'll be the second referee for this match. So yeah, this was a fine segment for what it was. So I'm just gonna give it to you, MF.
All right, and the next thing that we had was Rusev and Aiden English versus the Usos, and Rusev and Aiden English gets a big victory here. So give me your thoughts about that.
I'll give it about 1 to 1.25 stars as my rating on the match. So yeah, I mean, obviously you wanted to make Aiden English and Rusev look good going into the triple, or not the triple, the fatal 4-way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to the next thing, Fletch.
The main event of the evening: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens wins the match. So give me your thoughts about the main event.
Now, this was the fight of the night here. I'll give it about 3.5 stars as my rating on the match. So yeah, this was a good main event and a good way to close out what I thought was a very disappointing edition of SmackDown Live. So let's just
All right,
uh,
and just give me your overall thoughts, your overall review.
what did you guys give this edition of SmackDown Live?
I gave it a 2.5 to 3. Anthony gave it a solid 3. So it's up to you now.
I'm giving it a solid 2. I mean, so disappointing. I mean, this is your go home show for Clash of Champions, and you give us this hot monkey garbage? No, uh, I don't like it, and all I could say is you better deliver on this pay per view, or you're gonna have 3, or should I say 4, very disappointed members uh, of the wrestling forum here. So nothing more to say. I think it's the NXT review now, right?
Yeah, all right. We can do the NXT review for you. Bullock, just give me 1 minute to get the liner notes on this as well. Uh-oh. Give me 1 second. It started out with a match one-on-one. It was all right. Here we go. I got it. It yes. So we started it out with a one-on-one match. Is Andre C. Almas, Fabian Archer, answer, and the winner of the match was Andre C. Almas. So give me your thought.
I'll give it about uh, I'll give it about 1.5 stars as my rating on the match. I mean, obviously this is Andre Almas's first match since he became the NXT champion, and obviously you want to make him look good. So yeah, I mean, I really have nothing bad to say about it, so I'm just gonna move on.
All right, the second fight of the night was Nancy Oni Loken and Danny Burch, and they went up against Akam and Razor, the authors of Kane, with Paul Ellering. So give me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give this a no rating to a dud here. I mean, short match here, so nothing more to say. Let's just move on.
And our main event of the evening was the NXT number one contender Fatal 4-Way qualifying match. Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. Aleister Black, the winner, and he now joins. And now he actually joins Johnny Gargano, and he actually joins the Fatal 4-Way. So, give me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this about. I'm gonna give this about two. I'm gonna give this a solid 3 here. I mean, I thought this was a good main event. I mean, I'm gonna admit this, Fletch. I mean, going into this, I thought Adam Cole was going to win it, but no. I mean, they gave the victory to Aleister Black. I guess they're really high on him, so yeah. So he gets added to what'll be the fatal 4-way. So yeah. So congratulations to Aleister Black. So nothing more to say. I'm just gonna give it to you, Fletch, and I think it's the overall rating.
Yeah, overall review. So give me your thoughts about it. We basically went. Anthony went with the solid 6. I went 6.5. So where do you stand on
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna go somewhere between 6 to 6.5. I mean, I thought it was definitely 10 times better than what we saw with SmackDown Live. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's just move on, Fletch.
All right, no doubt about it. And now I'm gonna give a basically a basically I'm just gonna give a brief little thought about Ring of Honor. There was a show that went down tonight, actually, as a matter of fact, and they were going actually head to head. So what we had was Kenny King versus Caprice Coleman for the Ring of Honor television title. And the winner of the bout and still champion was Caprice Coleman. A solid fight, good match, decent battle. With King getting the win, heading into the final battle, which actually goes down this Friday night. Um, there was a nice little post fight as well. So I can't say that the post fight really amped my desire for the 4-way because of the fact that we have. I'll get into that card in just a little bit. Then we had Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. They basically cut a promo, and you know it was unbelievable what was going on. The angle helped give War Machine and the Addiction some much needed juice heading into the pay-per-view, but it might have been too little too late to make the match feel important. But at least they did something, give us a fight, and the previous angle of the fan getting involved or getting hurt didn't put any heat on the heels. But this angle didn't go far enough in regarding Hansen, the sympathy for Hansen, anything else. Then we got into another terrific angle, which was that had Jay Briscoe, Bully Ray, um, Tommy Dreamer, and Jay Lethal, and actually this was and Cough, and this was solid. I liked it. This was definitely really good to say the very least. One of the segments of the night, our main event of the evening for Ring of Honor was Matt Taven versus Jay Lethal, and Matt Taven wins the match. Solid main event. Nothing more to say about this. And it was basically, you know, this was a really good match. I really liked it. And then our main event of the evening was a contract signing for the Ring of Honor World Title, Dalton Castle and Cody Rhodes. This was solid. I enjoyed this episode. Definitely my favorite of the night, and I'm going to say this, a very strong go-home show with every segment playing into the final battle in some way, somehow. The highlight for me was the contract signing and the Briscoes, Tommy Dreamer, and Bully Ray's thing, which were also topped with two really good matches. This is how you're supposed to do a go-home show, ladies and gentlemen. Not the garbage we saw on SmackDown Live. This here was an 8 out of 10. This was how you get the job done. And let me just give you the Ring of Honor final battle fight card for you all. All right. So let's do it. Final battle, and it's going down this weekend, I should say, on Friday night from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Here it is. It is the Hang Bucks, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Adam Page as they go up against Dragon Lee, Flip Gordon, and Titan for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team fight. Then we have is the Motor City Machine Guns putting the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line as they go up against the Best Friends, Chucky T, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta in that one. Then we have is Matt Taven going up against Will Ospreay in a one-on-one match. Then we also have The Addiction, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels going up against War Machine of Hanson and Raymond Rowe in a tag team fight. Jay Lethal one-on-one with Marty Skrull in a fatal 4-way elimination match for the Ring of Honor television title. Shane Taylor, Punisher Martinez, the last great wrestler, Silas Young, and Kenny King in a match. Then, in a New York street fight, the Briscoe brothers, Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe, goes up against Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray. And in the main event for the Ring of Honor World title, Cody Rhodes puts the title on the line against Dalton Castle. My goodness, what a night it's going to be. What a matchup that's going to be. That's going down this Friday night, Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, in Manhattan, New York. So, I was gonna do some RWA stuff, but I really feel like I'm running over time, guys. So we're gonna put that to the side, and we're gonna do that next Wednesday night, and we're just gonna end it right here. So Friday night is NFL Football Friday, hosted by Anthony Florio. We're going to be covering all the NFL action, including the big one, Patriots, Steelers, going down Sunday afternoon at 4:25. We're going to go wall-to-wall in that, and then, of course, the NFL Power Rankings. We got a new number one, folks. Who's that going to be? You're just going to have to wait and find out. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now, and we'll see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.